It's a great day to be in real estate. This is Duanebeisner, sales manager and sales representative for ERA Real Estate. Thanks for joining us. For the quote of the day, he that is of the opinion money will do everything may well be suspected of doing everything for money, by Benjamin Franklin. And for the joke of the day, when Albert Einstein was making the rounds of the speaker circuit, he usually found himself eagerly longing to get back to his laboratory work. One night as they were driving to yet another rubber chicken dinner, Einstein mentioned to his chauffeur, a man who somewhat resembled Einstein in looks and manner, that he was tired of speech making. "I have an idea, boss," his chauffeur said. "I've heard you give this speech so many times, I bet I could give it for you." Einstein laughed loudly and said, "Well, why not? Let's do it." So when they arrived at the dinner, Einstein donned the chauffeur's cap and jacket and sat in the back of the room. The chauffeur gave a beautiful rendition of Einstein's speech and even answered a few questions expertly. Then a supremely pompous professor asked an extremely esoteric question about antimatter formation, digressing here and there to let everybody in the audience know that he was nobody's fool. Without missing a beat, the chauffeur fixed the professor with a steely stare and said, "Sir, the answer to that question is so simple that I'll let my chauffeur, who is sitting in the back, answer it for me." And now for the business tip of the day. Large and small problems happen to all business people. The people that succeed are the ones who have accepted that fact and have learned how to solve them. Think about that. And now for the Darwin Award of the day. Back in 2009 in Russia, there was a 25-year-old chemistry student of the Kiev Polytechnic Institute, and he'd acquired a peculiar habit of dipping his chewing gum into citric acid crystals while he was working, presumably to add, zesty flavor. So he was hunched over a computer in his parents' house in northern Ukraine in the city of Konotop when, whether by intention or inattention, the student dunked his gum into an unidentified chemical and stuck it back into his mouth. A loud pop was heard coming from his room. The reports actually did say that very fact. Putting aside the question of what he was doing with the chemicals at home, the student was well aware of the need to keep them away from food. Every academic laboratory emphasizes the importance of never eating near chemicals because it's easy to confuse a tasty beverage with a toxic liquid or salt your salad with arsenic. But there he was, deceased, the lower part of his face blown off. A forensic examination established that the remains of the chewing gum was covered with a dangerous unknown substance that the local laboratory presently did not have the necessary equipment to identify. Police found packets of citric acid and packets of a similar looking unidentified explosive material and think the student simply confused the two. Too bad. Okay, so the social commentary. Obama signed $600 million border security bill into law. President Obama on Friday signed a bill directing $600 million more to securing the U.S.-Mexico border, a modest election year victory that underscores his failure so far to deliver an overhaul of the immigration law. The new law will pay for the hiring of 1,000 more Border Patrol agents to be deployed at critical areas, as well as more Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. It provides for new communications equipment and greater use of unmanned surveillance drones. The Justice Department gets more money to help catch each drug dealer and human trafficker. But the bill fell short by the standards Obama has set for dealing with the immigration problem. In a speech last month, Obama reiterated his commitment to a comprehensive approach that would secure the border, but also addresses the 11 million illegal immigrants already in the country. Just a note, 11 million is far short from the number of illegal immigrants that are in this country right now. But our borders are just too vast for us to be able to solve the problem only with fences and border patrols, said the president. It won't work. How would he know? He's never tried a fence. Why don't you try that first, Obama? Obama signed the bill Friday into a low-key Oval Office ceremony. Low-key means it's not a victory, and it doesn't really do much good for us. But there was Homeland Secretary Janet Napolitano. There were cameras present, but no reporters. That's interesting. And the action came a day after the Senate convened in a special session during its summer recess to pass the bill. Napolitano said later, "This bill is clearly another step forward on border security. On top of the significant process that the administration has already made, there has been no significant progress." I don't know what she's talking about. And it's one of the many tools, she said, in the toolbox we have constructed along the border. Oh my God, where did they get this stuff? You can't even make this stuff up. That wasn't good enough for some immigration advocates who criticized the legislation as election year politics. Quote-unquote, efforts to overhaul our broken immigration system have once again taken a back seat to appeasing anti-immigrant xenophobes. As Congress passed another dramatic escalation in border enforcement with very little evidence that past escalations have been effective, said Margaret Moran, president of the League of United Latin American Citizens. I guess we know who they're lobbying for. Although some moderate Republicans have in the past supported such far-reaching legislation, including a path to citizenships for illegal immigrants now in the country, most in the GOP label that approach amnesty. That is what it is. It is amnesty. We've learned that from the past. If the president takes amnesty off the table and makes a real commitment to border and interior security, he will find strong bipartisan support, said Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Even past GOP backers of comprehensive immigration bills, such as Arizona Senator John McCain and South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, are no longer willing to lend their support. That's in part because opposition from conservative primary voters. Exactly. Republicans largely backed the border security bill signed Friday, even while complaining it didn't go far enough. An increasing number of customs inspectors along the border. The border security debate has become even more heated since Arizona passed a law directing law enforcement officers to be more aggressive in seeking out illegal immigrants. Although a federal judge has since struck down some of the law's major provisions, it remains a rallying cry for those who say Washington has lost control of the border. FYI, Washington never had control of the border. Washington doesn't want control of the border. How do we know? I mean, give me a break. $600 million? Do you know what that's a drop in the bucket compared to what we spent on the two wars in Afghanistan and in Iraq. We spent trillions of dollars, and they're going to throw $600 million at this? You know what? They think a actual fence or fence along the border won't work. Let's try it. Let's see. Hiring 1,000 Border Patrol agents will do absolutely nothing for this situation at all. No one gets it. We're never going to have security in this country until our borders are secured. We are a target for more terrorist attacks that are just walking across the Mexican border into the United States. We need to get aggressive, and we need to do it now. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. For the real estate news, decision on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac may come soon. Government and banking experts meet next week to decide the future of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The likeliest solution is a complex one. The Mortgage Bankers Association is proposing a system where risk-based fees on a class of mortgage-backed securities would be charged in exchange for a government guarantee against losses. Whatever the outcome, it is unlikely that Fannie and Freddie will be able to pay back the nearly $150 billion in taxpayer bailout money that they've received since 2007. Let's divide $600 million by $150 billion and see what ridiculous percentage that is that we're trying to enforce the border with. Next little bit here, the worst is over. Some experts conclude with housing recovering slowly. Most economists predicted in a recent survey that it will take at least 5 years for average home prices to climb back to the levels they commanded in 2006. This year, some hard-hit areas may see another dip, but property values will most likely rise in most areas. Softness in the summer's markets will be followed by firming conditions and momentum as the year unfolds and the economy strengthens, says Robert Denk, economist for the National Association of Home Builders. Well, we'll see soon enough. Anyway, I need to say, like always, that this is the best buyer's market you and I will ever see. If you are thinking about buying anywhere in the world, give us a call at ERA. We do have global reach. Thank you for listening. This is Duane. Happy trails to you. As always, proud to be an American. Thanks for listening.